Welcome to our second last video on layers. In this video, we're going to look at collating with layers. So this might be that you have multiple frames that you want to put into a strip type cartoon, or it might be that you have work from different sources that you want to incorporate into a single image, and you're going to use those different sources and collate them via layers. So diving into quickly creating a multi-frame strip cartoon. The first thing you need to do is make sure that all of your images are done, obviously, and then they need to be saved. I usually save them into my photo roll. So I go into Actions, I choose Share, I choose JPEG, and then I select this option called Save Image. So I save image, and I go back to the gallery, and I do that over and over for each image that I need to save. Once I've got all those images on my camera roll, it's time to go and create the size of canvas that I need to be able to put them into. So what I do is I tap on my plus, and I'm going to make I've got 5 different images. So I'm going to make a 6-frame canvas just because that's what I want to do. And I'm going to make it 2 frames side by side and 3 frames deep. So I know that each of my frames is 6 inches by 6 inches. So I'm going to make a canvas which is 12 inches wide by 18 inches deep. So I go to Create Custom Size here, and I say I want to be working in inches because that's familiar to me. I'm going to go for 12 inches wide and 18 inches deep. And this is going to be called 6-frame cartoon, or 6-frame strip, let's call it. Okay, so that's that done, and here we have it. Now what I do is insert each of my images in here. So I'm going to say plus within my actions thread. So actually what I'm going to do is say insert a photo because I've got those saved in my photo roll at this point. So I pick up the first one in the series, and you can see that it's still in transform mode, so I can just snap it up to the corner here and pop it in. Once it's done, I go back out, insert a photo, pick up my second photo, stash that next to the first one, and I keep going that way until every image is added and I can carry on and do the final details. And you can see that there's a little flaw, so I have this corner at the bottom which I specifically left open. I'm going to use it to write in. And then the other thing that happened was that I didn't put a frame around this one, number 2. So what I can do, and what I'd actually like to do, is go and erase the frame around other things. So maybe I would go and have the first one would have a frame, the second one no frame, the third one no frame, the fourth one with a frame, and get rid of the frame. So let me reduce the size of my eraser a little bit. Go and get rid of the frame here. You can see that the frame is still partly showing because as I erase, it leaves almost like a little shadow behind. So what I do is I go along and erase, and I can still see that faint shadow. I just go back and erase again over it. And now if I squeeze down and have a look, that's good enough. If we just take a look at what's happened in our layer section, you'll see that each image that I've inserted, Procreate gave it its own layer, which is actually great because it means that when you come to edit things, you can edit things one layer at a time, and editing separate layers is always good. Okay, so once I've got that, I'm happy. I can go back into gallery, I can tap on Untitled Artwork and call it Fairweather Friend because this is my Fairweather Friend strip, and that's done. Now the second place where you might want to use layers to collate something is when you've got a couple of references or perhaps work that you've done and you want to bring that into a piece that you're creating in Procreate and mash it all together, I guess, like patchwork. So I have taken the liberty of preparing this canvas already, and you can see how the things that I brought in don't quite work. So I'll show you what it looked like when I first brought it in. This came in like that, with the transform showing, and I could decide, was I going to make it fit to the screen or not? I guess with this particular reference, what I could do is, wouldn't matter too much if I distorted this. So I could distort it. Let me just move my canvas up a little bit. Distort the bottom. I can have it like that. And that works fine. So if I move that in, there's my canvas. I've filled the frame, distorted things a little bit, but it's not noticeable in this one. Then I added in this image of the woman in her yellowed raincoat. And it came in looking like this. Okay, so now I need to decide what am I going to do with her. Again, I can move her around if I want to. What am I going to do with her? Let me tap out of there. I'm going to reduce the size of my canvas so that I can see it at all times. And then I'm going to tap back in. Now, where do I want to put her? I think I probably want to make her bigger. So I'm going to bring her right up into the foreground. And I'm going to put her here. And tap out. So now I've got this lady against a white background, and I've got a canvas behind her. So what I need to do is, within my canvas, I need to go and erase around her. So I'm going to zoom in, and then I am going to erase, literally, like this, round the edges. Okay? And when I've got round the outside of her, as I get closer, I'm going to have to be more and more careful, so I'll probably reduce the size of my brush here. And just bring it down. Of course, I'm about to use her as a reference in a cartoon, so it's not like I'm kind of photoshopping an image to get her in perfectly. All I want is to be able to see how she kind of fits in with the background, whether I need to align her in different places, and then I'll turn her into a cartoon of some sort. So this is the thing that you often run into when you're collating things, is that something that you put in a layer on top then obscures part of the layer behind, and you have to figure out what to erase in what layer. And you need to keep your wits about you, because sometimes you can end up erasing in the wrong layer. And I've done that a number of times. Fortunately, digital, we've got undo, it's all good. Okay, so let's take this back to a normal kind of size. There we have her, looking like she always belonged. Haha, almost. And that's it for this video. That's how you go about collating with layers, either if you are creating strip cartoons or some sort of put together item, or bringing in different references, different pieces of work to resize and use in a single frame as one particular image. And now it's time for the next video.